Yeah, let's go ahead and touch base with Cal, who's looking for maybe some advice on how to start a relationship. Cal, tell us a story. If you can hear us.
Hello?
Howdy.
Hello.
Hi. So, like, I've been best friends with Sarah for a while, but, like, I'm in Utah and everything is super Mormon. And so, like, I don't know if I should, like, actually ask her out because, like, her family is really Mormon and, like, isn't really, like, that accepting around, like, gay people or trans people, even though they, like, they might know I'm trans, but, like, I don't know how they would, like, trying to, like, date her. And also, I don't know how to ask my best friend that. And I don't know if that's an appropriate topic for the show because, like, I don't know that much about this show particularly. I just really wanted to ask for advice.
Hey, you're in the right place. This is exactly where we come to talk about this kind of thing. And it sounds like you have two very big kind of topics to tackle. One of them is the age-old, how do I ask my best friend out? And then the other is a very, relevant topic about how do I exist and pursue a relationship as a trans person in a very religious community. And those are both huge topics. I'd love to dive into them. Christy, Rudy, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's important to take them in that order, V. I hear the concerns. Like, I don't mean to downplay it or dismiss it, but I'm not necessarily concerned about her Mormon family. I'm concerned about her, about whether or not she wants to date you. And, her family ties are certainly a factor, but really, I think the thing that you can focus on and the thing that you have some control over is your relationship with her. And if she wants to then, change her relationship with her family, or if her relationship with her family interferes with her relationship with you, ultimately we're still talking about her and her choices and the choices that she's making. And if she's making those choices, they're out of your hands. And so not necessarily something for you to stress. So I think I would really say that you can focus on her and what she's interested in. I don't know. Does that resonate at all?
Yeah. And I just don't know how to go about it at all because, like, we've been best friends for, like, so long. And it's like, how do you talk to someone about that?
Can I ask, does she know that you're trans? Have you come out to her, or would that also be part of the conversation?
Yeah, she, like, since the first day I met her, I've been out.
Okay, good. Okay, that simplifies the conversation a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, gosh, that is a question I've struggled with as well. I've definitely had my fair share of, wanting to ask out a friend and being like, oh my goodness, how do I even broach this subject? Have you noticed, does she give you any indications that she might like you back in more than a friendly way, or would this kind of be the first time you're exploring that angle?
I think it's probably the first time. I'm not that good at noticing things like that, though.
All right. Well, if that's the case, I don't know. If it were me, I think I'd suggest maybe moving a little bit slowly at first and maybe dropping a couple hints and seeing what the reaction is. So one option would be to come out right away and be like, hey, I like you. I want to take you on a date. I'd love it if we could move this into a more romantic relationship than what we've got now. Or you could start by bringing her flowers and seeing what she does. Or, maybe inviting her out to a really nice dinner, like a picnic or something. Or, if you're social distancing right now, having like a nice Zoom meal together and seeing if you can move things into that space and feel out what her reactions are. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I will say the last time that I sort of like confessed feelings to a best friend, I was in high school. So I might not be the best person to ask about that in particular, although I will say those always turned out okay. So that's like
You got a good track record, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
It was JV, like, it was back in high school days, but it still counts.
Among my friends, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I was notorious for, like, whoever I happened to have a crush on pretty much always had a crush on me back. And I don't know how that works, but maybe I was just really obvious, so I don't know. But,
Well, okay, rub it in, Rudy. That's fine.
Seriously.
I'm talking about high school, ain't nothing to brag about. But as far as, I will say, as far as being worried about her family, I was definitely that person. I've been in her shoes in that way of having the family that probably won't approve. Everybody that I dated, literally up to the person that I am dating now, who is actually my fiance, I was secretly dating, at least for some of the time that we were dating. So if that has to be you should probably, basically, if you end up getting to the point of, okay, we both know we like each other, we both know we want to date, if and when you get to that point, you should have an explicit discussion about, do we tell your parents about this ever? Does this need to remain a secret pretty much forever? Or is this something that they might be open to later? Because I remember looking back, I realized that I had people that I was dating and they did not understand why we were dating in secret. Like, they were fine with just talking about it. And I never really explicitly made it clear to them why there was no way in hell they could let anybody know. And it wasn't because I was ashamed of them or anything. It was just because of the family dynamics, the fact that I was in a cult, that just wasn't feasible. So with her family being Mormon, if that's something that you pursue, that is definitely a discussion that you should have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the therapist in me is just saying, communicate, rather than subtle hints and flowers, show up with flowers and say, hey, I really like our friendship. It's totally fine if it stays that way, but I'd like to discuss something else. And, part of that conversation may include, like, the question of, what do we do about your parents? And, whatever her response is, it at least gives you the opportunity to make a decision, a choice. If you're told at the outset, well, you're going to be a dirty little secret for the entire length of this relationship, then that may or may not be something that you're comfortable with. It's not inherently wrong for you to choose that lifestyle. It just is going to come with certain costs that I would invite you to go into with open eyes. But yeah, more than anything, I think the best piece of advice I could give you would be to take all of the pressure out of it, to recognize that you don't need this to be a romantic relationship, that it could still turn into a romantic relationship, even if you get a no right out of the gate. Yeah, that doesn't mean, like, keep a torch burning forever and keep, like, hassling or nagging somebody over and over. But, the reality is, people change, circumstances change, people's moods and their minds change. And I would really invite you to go into this with sort of a abundant mindset, this idea that you have everything that you need. And it might be nice to take advantage of an opportunity, which is to say, grow a relationship into something new and special, but that you don't need it. You're not obligated to it. And if she responds by saying, no, thank you, say, all right, no big deal. I'll go see that movie with somebody else. It doesn't need to have any more pressure on it than getting lunch together, even if it feels pretty life or death. How is all that striking you, Cal?
That's really it actually does help a lot.
Good. I love that advice, Christy. Communication is key. Cal, as you kind of pursue this, I would suggest, as I'm echoing my co-hosts here, take it one step at a time. Don't worry about telling the family anything yet. Don't worry about any of that other stuff. Focus on you and your best friend, this person you would like to be a romantic partner, and figure it out from there. If the answer is no, then you don't need to worry about the rest. If the answer is yes, then you get to celebrate that and figure it out together. So either way, I'd say, yeah, start with focusing on your friend and see where it goes from there, and call back. Let us know how things go. We'd love to keep up with you.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Best of luck. Keep our email address. Keep our phone number. We'd love to hear more.
Yeah. Have a good night, Cal.